Hello, and welcome to Ghosts Want You Dead presents Ghosts Want to Talk About AMC's The Vampire Lestat. We're Matthew.
And Rebecca. Every Monday, we recap everyone's favorite spooky 60s soap opera, Dark Shadows, which had its 60th anniversary on June 27th. Cast member Catherine Lee Scott and Penny Dreadful creator John Logan announced a new coffee table book called Dark Shadows Legacy, which is now available for pre order. Warner Brothers Animation announced the development of an adult animated series of Dark Shadows.
It was a very busy week on the Dark Shadows beat between all of those things you just mentioned and the fact that we are fast approaching the point in our recaps of Dark Shadows where the vampire shows up. And the vampire Lestat passing its halfway point, we officially declare the start of Hot Vampire Summer, TM.
Speaking of hot vampires, in episode 4, The Devil's Road, Lestat's nearly incomprehensible voiceover talks about the difficulties of life on the road. He relates that a bit of internet attention made him feel briefly better about dead boyfriends and missing his mommy.
We join the tour bus as folks are frantically flushing their drugs because they are being pulled over by the police. Lestat mind controls the cop. He applies cocaine to his face with a makeup brush. In voiceover, he briefly mentions the titular Devil's Road, which is a thing from the novel, but let's see how it pans out on TV.
In voiceover, Lestat waxes poetic about the liminality of truck stops and diners or something. We join Louis stalking the Claudia lookalike waitress Regina. She speaks this time. She's British. They discuss her accent, Louis trying to pinpoint her origins. She is played by the same actress as Claudia. They chit chat. She thinks he's trying to pick her up. He explains that he's gay.
Back on the bus, Lestat texts Mama while the band bullshits. They are in the process of writing another bad song. Daniel resumes his adversarial interviewing as Mama texts back. Daniel asks where Sophia has run off to. In the text, Mama says she went east but will return soon. She promises to meet up with him in Albany. Daniel changes the subject to Lestat's mother, not knowing that Sophia is she. Lestat begins spinning a ghost story as Nikki pops up as a ghost hallucination to offer rebuttals.
In a flashback, Lestat and Gabriella plot their immediate future. They are having a good time. In voiceover, Lestat tells a different story, claiming that Gabriella failed to thrive as an infant vampire. AA Alex returns to the bus. Lestat is pleased to see him. Elsewhere, Daniel is bowling, and suddenly the other patrons vanish, and Daniel is left seemingly alone, and Armand enters. Daniel calls him Dad, tells him to go the fuck away. He is mad, and he tells him to fuck off.
Armand has amusingly come to ninth step at Daniel, but it does not go well. Daniel is very bitter. Back at the diner, Regina delivers Louis' order and confesses to Googling his alter ego, Thomas Pitt. She tells him about being poor, and she wants to know why he's obsessed with her. He explains that he's just lonely and having a rough time, and she's been nice, but she doesn't buy it. So he shows her the online listing for the Interview with the Vampire novel and seems to be coming clean, but then chickens out and leaves. He does leave a giant tip.
Like $500.
In flashback, Lestat and Mom are having vampire lessons. They are visiting her hometown, which is in Italy, if you didn't know, if you couldn't catch on from that accent. And he is teaching her to count the heartbeats of the inhabitants of buildings to determine their population. They flirt and it's gross. They spot a hot guy, but then an old Italian man approaches, recognizing Gabriella from her youth, but she scares him off with telepathy.
In an interview segment, which transitions from black and white to color, Lestat is telling the Italy story from the last flashback, and Daniel interrupts. Sore about Lestat's telepathy trick in the last interview. Elsewhere in the room, Alex is telling his brother about his AA sponsor, who is presumably Armand. He doesn't reveal the name, the second A, and all of that. Daniel and Lestat interview fight some more, and Lestat glances at his phone to see he's missed a call from to me, a mama, and is plunged into visions of rapidly intercut memories. Fucking his mom in the Italy flashback, his mom fucking the lookalike in the bathroom. As he's trying to call mama back, he leaves a pissy voicemail.
In flashback, he catches Mama fucking the hot dude they saw earlier, and he's jealous. She kills the dude. Lestat is visibly upset until Mama seduces him. She declares her love, and they fuck next to the corpse of the hot dude, intercut with shots of a lonely beach. This is revealed to be a dream rather than part of his interviews with Daniel as he wakes up in his coffin and emerges to find Armand there. In voiceover, Lestat monologues about Armand and how he gets around the globe. He also makes an allusion to the Queen of the Damned.
Armand has come to Ninth Step Lestat, telling a very abbreviated version of their history in the process. While Armand reads his letter, Lestat seductively removes his leather pants, preparing to shower. He shows off his body to distract Armand, and the shower turns on spraying blood, which Lestat erotically rubs into his skin. He continues to put on a show for Armand. He presses a button, and then the shower spray switches to water, rinsing the blood away. Lestat taunts Armand while putting on a robe that he doesn't close, shit talking Armand while leaving his dick out.
Armand mentions, oh, there's just one more little thing, and Lestat correctly guesses that he's come to ask him to stop his little music career because it's encouraging the other vampires with their whole great conversion thing. But Lestat says he's getting bored with it anyway, and the tour is almost over. He invites Armand to attend a show, promising flirtily, I'm quite sexy.
Back to the diner, Regina arrives visibly annoyed to see Louis waiting. She's late, and he eavesdrops on her fight with her boss. She steps behind the bar. Louis begins a conversation. She's read the book and asks if he's the vampire from the book. He doesn't answer, but offers to help her. She has figured out that she looks like Claudia. She remarks, that's mental. Louis says he knows, and Regina says that this is a lot. She tries to dismiss him, saying she has to turn around for the breakfast rush. Louis has to leave. Regina asks if it's because of the coming sunrise.
He confirms that it is, and she repeats, that's mental. I wish we could do the accent, but we can't. He gives her money, and she asks him to get out, but then follows to ask why he's giving her such a large sum of money. He admits to stalking her, discovering an OnlyFans account and a criminal record, which he offers to clean up for her and set her up in a new apartment with a new life. But she is not interested, declining on the grounds that she suspects that what he's really asking is to hire her to play act that she's his dead daughter. Louis begins to walk away, and she tells him that she does not need this shit.
Now it's time for this week's unfortunate musical number. Lestat is topless with a full face of makeup and pigtails. We love Sam Reid, but with the hair and makeup, he does have a little bit of a Buffalo Bill does Baby Jane drag going on. I wasn't mad at it, though. He produces a copy of the book. On stage, he introduces Armand in the audience. He dedicates a song written for Armand. It's terrible. It is mean. It is all kinds of embarrassing to watch. Elsewhere, Daniel walks down a nighttime street following Armand. He yells for him to stop. He gets up in his face. Daniel wants him to stop all the people around them from disappearing. Armand has no control over it.
He warns Daniel about the great conversion and warns that Lestat is going to get them all killed. Daniel's not really listening because he's still mad about Dubai. Back at the show, backstage, Lestat tries again to reach Mama by phone while Ghost Nikki taunts him, smearing the mirror with blood from the stump of his severed hand like an especially dramatic departure from Drag Race.
That got me.
I occasionally have jokes.
Ooh. Lestat leaves a ridiculous voicemail for It's a Me, a Mama. He exits the venue. He signs the autographs and takes selfies, and someone emerges from the crowd and shoots him. And maybe some of the band. I believe, like his little lawyer lady friend,
Oh,
lover.
okay.
On the bus, the human wounds are tended to as Lestat admires his own. Flashback to Gabriella and Lestat 10 years post vampirification. She wants to destroy the world. She wants to recreate Dante's hell.
Flash forward to Louis watching Regina through the diner window while he sits in his car. She notices, so she waves him in, and after some polite chit chat, informs him that she's down to do the freaky thing he wants, but she wants $500,000 to do it. And then she puts on a Claudia voice. News footage of rumors of vampires while Lestat sings an acoustic guitar ballad as we return to he and Mama on the beach in the past. It's sunset and he wakes to find Mama gone. She's left jewelry behind.
Back on the bus, it stops. Mama has returned. The music career is over. Lestat apparently playing dead. They fight. He demands to know where she was. She says she was with the voices. He asks what voices. She suggests they have a listen. Subtitled talk about his music stunts, people who believe the vampire stuff. She is encouraging him to resume his music career and start a vampire cult. The empty bus fills with phantoms of his past.
He is then in the studio recording a new song about a ravenous queen of the damned. The end.
Yep.
Well, this is the first episode of the 4 that we've seen now that I wasn't fully on board for. For the first 3, while observing, oh, these are changes from the book, I have been mostly on board with those changes. With this one, while I was still entertained, I also found myself hitting the up button on the remote, checking to see how much more was left. Like I was ready to be done. I found myself fondly remembering that in the novel, his little music career wasn't such a big part of the book. I long for that. I like that he is a good singer, but I don't think we need a musical number every episode. I feel like, based on what has been said in the show, that it is intentionally bad. Lestat has said out loud that, like, this is self indulgent and stupid, and I'm having a nervous breakdown. And it has been addressed many times that they are not drawing particularly good crowds and are not as successful as he thought he would be.
Sure. And I do appreciate that, but I think a lot of fans are really into the music.
I have noticed that on socials. And I am declining to comment because I want those fans to listen to our podcast.
Well, they will listen to us talk crap about the music and hate it, but then maybe they'll rage listen. Well, we'll see as time goes on. It's mostly just about him fucking his mother like that and the bad music. And I was enjoying the time we spent with Louis and Regina.
I am into that too. I am interested to see where this new story will go. Louis is barely in the book for like no more than a few pages.
Yeah.
So I like how they have given him a reason to be around this season, other than flashbacks, even though the whole thing is a flashback.
It's definitely wild. Like, I do like the sort of erratic nature of it. It is hard to follow, but I kind of enjoy that as a, person who has had a few of their own minty bees, as the kids call them. I like seeing his sort of real time, all over the place breaking down.
I have also seen online a lot of people scolding other people for complaining about the differences from the books. One of the points I have seen brought up a few times, people on threads particularly are accusing people of not being bright enough to understand that the show is playing with the unreliable narrator notion,
Hmm.
and maybe the things that are different from the book are just things that Lestat is not being honest about. And
Yeah.
so there has been a lot of like, well, you just don't understand what they're trying to do. And, I just engaged in some of that myself with the music thing, which I will probably cut out. But yeah, I am a the music is bad on purpose truther. And I do intend, after we've finished doing the recaps, to go back and watch all the after shows and listen to the podcasts. We might do like a post-mortem episode of
Yeah.
this, which is funny because vampires and death. We might do one at the end where I go back to you and report everything I learned in the after shows and
That
podcasts.
would be
And then
fun.
we can also make final comparisons between the book and the show because you will have reread the book by then.
Yeah, I think that sounds fun.
This weekend, I might try and also reread Queen of the Damned before the next one. I did stick around and watch the next week on, and it does seem like Marius is going to turn up next week.
I think I am finding myself in a position when I reread the books, I'll know for sure, but I'm not enjoying this nearly as much as I've enjoyed the other seasons. But I also, if memory serves me, didn't enjoy all of the books. And like, it's too jumbled for me. Like, I would like to reread all of it and then watch everything in its entirety and then decide how I feel. But I mean, I haven't hated watching it. It's still entertaining, and Sam Reed is something I'd look at all day long any day. So I'm enjoying it to a point.
Rebecca just watched the TV show like a couple of months ago, and so she's coming fresh off the first two excellent seasons, and it is jarring to go from that to this entirely different way of telling the story. And I found you a kindred spirit on Threads. I can't remember exactly what they said, but someone said something to the effect of, this is fun and everything, but I low key liked it better when the show was just two dudes in an apartment.
Yeah, I
uh,
like to be.
this is too chaotic and trying to be chaotic, and it was better in the previous two.
Yes, agreed. I
So,
agree with that person. So if that person is listening by some rare chance, I hear you, buddy.
baby, nobody's listening
I
to this.
know. You never know. I am annoyed at how heavy the incest is. It's just incest, incest all day long for us.
I
And
know, and at this point, we may as well just embrace it. And we are the incest cast, where we just talk about all media depictions of incest because everything we try to discuss ends up involving it.
Well, and I understand that because it was in the books, it's gonna be in the show, but does it need to be quite so much in the show? But maybe it does. I don't know.
Well, you'll see when you reread the book, it wasn't explicitly in the books. There is one reference in a sentence where Lestat is saying, like, my mom, and it's a list of like mother, fledgling, daughter, lover. And that is the only mention of
Well,
their relationship being weird. But again, remember, in the books, the vampires don't fuck. The blood drinking is the sex. So
yeah, I know.
it skates by under the same loophole that allowed her to write about so many queer relationships. No, they're not fucking. It's just blood drinking. So it's not incest. It's just vampires.
Yeah.
I am eager for you to reread the book. And I get, we never did talk about this. We just meant to. I think we talked about it off mic. I am not real keen on the differences between book Gabrielle and show Gabriella because they leave out a whole lot of her back to nature business. In the book, her whole thing is that she wants to go live in the remote wilderness and only survive on the blood of animals and not have to see or talk to anyone ever. It is often brought up how she is always dirty and grubby because instead of sleeping in a coffin, she likes to just dig down into the ground and sleep in the ground. And she likes to live in nature in remote places. And they're leaving that out entirely.
But really driving home the incest.
I know we talked about this, but again, I think it was off mic. But in the book, Gabrielle is perhaps a trans man. After she becomes a vampire,
Mm,
they recycle the bit from Interview with the Vampire about Claudia wanting to cut her hair and being upset when it grows back. In the novel, a mom prefers to dress in men's clothing and she wants to cut her hair short so that she can present as a man all the time
yeah.
and gets very upset when her hair grows back. I think that is a missed opportunity for such a queer show
Mhm.
to get in some trans representation. I am disappointed that they have not done that.
I am also disappointed that they didn't do that.
I remember saying that to you after we recorded, but then saying I don't want to say it on the podcast yet because they could surprise us and do something with that. So let's give them a chance to do that. But now they have
Really
not.
haven't. Yeah. Well, and it is interesting that they haven't really broached her being a nature lady either. Because really, that is, again, not to be just this Debbie Downer on all of it, but like those are both cool things they could have explored. Instead, they're just like, it's a me, mama, I fucks you. I make the incest. Like, and that's her entirety of her personality. Like,
Yeah, even if they didn't say anything about it, like they could have at least had her show up in grubby men's clothes instead of looking like office business casual like she did when she
she's
showed
looking like
up.
Julianne Moore and as
President Hunger Games, yes.
President Hunger Games. I already said that though. I'm running out of things to say.
But yeah, I just don't like what they've done with the mother character at all.
No, me either.
I will say I am getting a kick out of the performance, even though the accent is over the top and bad and sounds like Mario. Her commitment to it is fun, and she seems to be in on the joke and having a good time. I'm looking up her name because I can't remember it. except I don't know how it's pronounced. Her name is Jennifer Ehle. Yeah, anyway, I think I'm having more fun with it than you are.
Maybe. But that may just be that you watched the other seasons at an appropriate time when they first came out, and I didn't until recently. And so yeah, like you said earlier, I'm just going from having these great, really lovely, well-crafted adaptations and then one that is a little harder to digest. I still like it and I love all the actors and I think everybody's doing a real good job, and I'm not trying to shit on the show. I just haven't enjoyed it as much.
Well, we still have 3 episodes to go.
Well, they could shake me up and surprise me. You know what you guys should do? Follow us at Ghosts Want You Dead on Instagram and
Threads and Blue Sky and YouTube. And go to patreon.com/ghostswantyoudead to contribute to our little podcasting endeavor. In exchange for your money, you will get more podcasts. We have a couple of fun bonus episodes. If you are interested, please do so. And we will talk to you next week.
see you next Tuesday.